If you've ever thought, I'm not flexible enough for yoga or yoga isn't for me, I want to challenge that belief today. So, welcome to the Beyond the Pose series. I'm Rhonda, a 500-hour registered yoga teacher, holistic wellness educator, and founder of True North Total Wellness. After nearly a decade of practice and years of teaching both community and private classes, I've learned that yoga is so much more than poses or flexibility. At its heart, yoga is one of the world's oldest holistic wellness practices, and it's really a system for cultivating awareness, presence, resilience, and a deeper relationship with yourself. So, in this series, we'll explore yoga beyond the stereotypes, from choosing the right class and understanding the different styles of yoga to some of the deeper conversations surrounding practice, like philosophy, history, and the questions people often have about culture and tradition. So, whether you're stepping onto the mat for the first time or returning after years away, my hope is that this series helps you to discover a practice that supports you, not just on the mat, but in the way that you move through your everyday life. And one of the biggest reasons that people miss out on those benefits is because they start in the wrong class. So let's start there. So if you've ever said, I tried yoga once and I hated it, valid. But I do want you to consider that there's a really good chance you don't actually hate yoga. You just hadn't found the practice that supported what you needed at that point in your life. And as someone who's been both a student and a teacher of yoga, I've learned that finding the right class can completely change how someone experiences yoga. So today, here are three things I want you to consider before booking your next class. First, get clear on what you're hoping to receive from the practice. It really isn't just one type of yoga. It's really a collection of practices designed to support people in different ways. So some classes are going to be slow, restorative, and deeply relaxing. Others are going to be more physically demanding and might leave you feeling like you just did a cardio session. And some are going to emphasize meditation and mindfulness, while others are rooted in strength, mobility, or therapeutic movements. So none of them is necessarily better than the others. They're simply designed to meet different needs. So before you sign up, you do want to ask yourself, what am I looking for today? Do you want stress relief? Do you want better flexibility? Do you want a challenging workout? Or are you looking for recovery or a more meditative practice? So knowing your goals and intentions going in makes it so much easier to choose the class that's right for you. Second, I would say choose a class that matches your experience level. And this is a tough one. One of my core teaching philosophies is accessibility. So I like to offer variations of a pose and allow students the autonomy to choose the version that feels most supportive in their body at that time. But not every class is designed that way. Some styles are intentionally more structured and move at a faster pace. And those classes are going to assume that students already know the terminology and the general sequencing. So this is why I always encourage people to read the class description and look for words that give context to the flow and pace of the class. You can find little details like beginner friendly, all levels, accessible, or inclusive. Things like that can tell you a lot about whether the class will feel supportive or overwhelming for you. And finally, I would say stay in your body and mind your mat. Even though you may be practicing in a room full of people, yoga is still a very deeply personal practice. No two bodies are going to arrive on the mat with the same story. So in my own experience, I've had students cry after a yin hip opening sequence. I've had someone spend almost an entire aerial class resting quietly in their hammock because that's what their body needed that day. And I've also had students choose to do a handstand while everyone else was practicing a really simple forward fold that I was teaching. So to be clear, none of these choices were wrong. While they may have garnered some looks, every one of those students was practicing yoga. And your job as a student is to understand that the practice isn't about keeping up with everyone else. It's really about paying attention to your own body and honoring what it needs in that moment. One of the reasons I'm so passionate about sharing this is because I've met so many people who tell me their yoga horror stories. And don't get me wrong, I've honestly had a few myself. But honestly, I think many of these experiences occur because they were simply in a class that wasn't aligned with where they were in their journey. So if that's been your experience, please don't give up on yoga. Try a different teacher, try a different style, try a different pace. Because yoga really isn't about forcing yourself to fit the practice. It's about finding a practice that meets you where you are.